Here I am in the Jane Austen Museum in Bath. So this is not a house she actually stayed in. She stayed up the street, but it's now a dental clinic, and the dentist refuses to sell it. But anyway, they've done it up in a Georgian style. So we think this is Jane Austen. Not actually sure this silhouette is her. So Jane Austen, born in Hampshire, where her father was a Church of England vicar. So perhaps the most exalted person in that small village. The clergy were held in very high regard, but he didn't quite have the money to go with that financial status. Had a salary of about £100 a year. Working class man would get about £25 a year, and had the use of 200 acres of farmland, mostly for cattle, and made about another £100 a year from that. So the middle class, obviously, is a very broad group, but he was towards the bottom end of the clergy in terms of income. He'd attended Oxford University. Under 1% of men attended university in those days, and no women. Look, Mr. Dashwood from Sense and Sensibility introduced one of the most notable characters. So she's known for her 6 novels, Pride and Prejudice, as well as Emma, Northanger Abbey, Persuasion, and then what's the other one? So we have people presenting it. Okay, so her parents, George and Cassandra. Her only sister was also named Cassandra. So this is when they got married. Okay, so she was born and died in Hampshire. Her parents actually married in Bath, though, and so she had 6 brothers, just the one sister. So born the 16th of December, 1775. Steventon was that village that she came from. Right. So her father had over 500 books. Books were very expensive back then. So she'd been very ill as a child. She never married. She once accepted an engagement, but then the next day told the man, slept on it, came down, and she changed her mind. So her sister didn't marry either. Her sister was engaged for 5 years, and her husband didn't have enough money. He's a clergyman. He went to what's now the Dominican Republic on a mission, but he caught yellow fever and died. His sister Cassandra was 25, and she promised, she loved this man so much, she'd never marry anybody else. This is the house they were in. So she visited Bath. They'd come for like 2 months at a time. Remember, travel was very slow then, before the railways. Horse-drawn carriages, very uncomfortable. So having made the journey from Hampshire, that would be all day. They didn't want to have to travel again too much, but it was the place to be seen for the upper class, the upper middle class. They aspired to be upper middle class, didn't quite have the money to do it. So it was Harris, Big Withers, the one who proposed to her. So her father retired here, and she was aghast, but as a spinster, she had to live with her parents, and then her father died in 1805. So she and her mother and sister were in straitened circumstances. They lived in Gay Street near here. We're also in Gay Street, but not the same one. Gay in those days obviously meant joyful. So after their father died, about a year and a half later, Jane, her sister Cassandra, and her mother, who was also named Cassandra, they left the city. They'd been living on handouts from the brothers. One of the brothers was disabled, one of them was a banker, 2 of them were clergymen, 2 of them were Royal Naval officers, indeed rose to be rear admirals in both cases.